Hey everyone, welcome back. And as we close out this year and step right up to the doorway of January, I want to slow things down for a moment and really talk through something that is on a lot of minds right now. Social Security payments. This time of year always brings questions, but this year feels heavier. People are checking their bank accounts more often, watching calendars more closely, and trying to plan ahead in an economy that still feels tight for so many households. January is not just another month on the calendar. It's the month when new Social Security benefit amounts actually start showing up in real life, not just as numbers announced months earlier. For some people, that change brings a small sense of relief. For others, it brings worry, because even with an increase, costs keep climbing. So today, we're going to walk through the January 2026 Social Security payment schedule, the exact dates you should expect your money, what changes as the year turns over, and why this January feels different for a lot of families across the country. Before we go any further, I want to pause and ask you something simple, and I really mean simple. As we head into this new year, what is the one financial concern that weighs on you the most right now? Is it rising grocery prices, higher rent or housing costs, medical bills, or just the fear of not knowing what the next year will bring? Drop a short comment below. You don't have to explain your whole situation. Even a few words matter. One of the most powerful things about this community is when people scroll through the comments and realize they are not alone in feeling this way. That shared understanding matters more than you might think. Now let's get into what most of you came here for, the actual Social Security payment dates for January 2026, because when you look at the calendar this year, some of these dates do look a little unusual, especially for people who receive Supplemental Security Income, also known as SSI. If you are an SSI recipient, your January 2026 payment is scheduled to arrive early, on Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. That's right, before the new year even officially begins. This happens because January 1st is a federal holiday, and Social Security does not issue payments on holidays or weekends. So the agency sends SSI payments on the last business day before the first of the month. If you see that deposit hit your account on December 31st, it is still your January payment. It is not extra money. It is not a bonus, and it does not mean you were paid twice by mistake. It is simply how the calendar works when holidays land at the beginning of the month. This early payment timing can be confusing, and every year it catches people off guard. Some people see the deposit and feel a moment of relief, thinking they received something extra, especially during the holiday season when money is already stretched thin. But it's important to remember that this payment is meant to cover January expenses. That means your next SSI payment after that will not arrive until the end of January for February, which we will talk about in a moment. Budgeting around these early payments is critical, because spending it too quickly can leave you short later on. Now, if you receive Social Security benefits and you started receiving them before May of 1997, or if you receive both Social Security and SSI, your payment schedule is a little different. For this group, your Social Security payment is scheduled for Friday, January 2nd, 2026. Even though January 1st is a holiday, this payment date remains consistent. This group follows an older payment schedule that is not tied to birthdays, and while it can feel confusing compared to the newer system, the date itself does not shift much year to year. For everyone else receiving Social Security retirement, disability, or survivor benefits, your January payment date depends on your birthday. This system has been in place for years, but it's always worth repeating, especially at the start of a new year. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment will arrive on Wednesday, January 14th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your payment will arrive on Wednesday, January 21st. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment will arrive on Wednesday, January 28th. When you look at the full January lineup, it goes like this. SSI recipients receive their January payment early on December 31st. People who receive both SSI and Social Security, or who started benefits before May 1997, receive their Social Security payment on January 2nd. Then, birthday-based Social Security payments arrive on January 14th, January 21st, and January 28th. At first glance, that might seem straightforward, But there is another calendar detail that is extremely important, especially for SSI recipients, and it has caught many people by surprise in past years. February 1st, 2026 falls on a Sunday. Because Social Security does not issue SSI payments on weekends, the February SSI payment will also be sent early. That means SSI recipients will receive their February payment on Friday, January 30th. So yes, some people will see two SSI payments arrive in January, one at the very beginning of the period, on December 31st for January, and another at the end of the month, on January 30th for February. This is not extra money. It is not a mistake. It is simply the way the calendar lines up this year. This is one of the biggest budgeting traps for SSI recipients. When two payments arrive close together, it can feel like a financial break, especially after the holidays. But if that money is spent without planning, February can feel very long and very stressful. Being aware of this ahead of time gives you the chance to plan, even if planning feels hard when every dollar already has a job. Most people who use direct deposit will see their payments arrive overnight or early in the morning on their scheduled payment date, depending on their bank. Some banks post funds earlier than others, and in some cases, you might see the deposit pending the night before. Direct express payments typically load on the same day as well, although the exact timing can vary. If your payment does not show up right away, Social Security generally recommends waiting a few business days before contacting them, because banking delays do happen, especially around holidays and at the start of the year. As frustrating as that wait can be, most delays resolve themselves without any action needed. Now let's talk about the other major change tied to January, the cost of living adjustment, often referred to as COLA. For 2026, the COLA is 2.8%. For most Social Security beneficiaries, this increase begins with the January payment. On average, that works out to about $56 more per month for retired workers. For people receiving SSDI or survivor benefits, the increase varies depending on their current benefit amount. For some households, that extra money makes a real difference. It might help cover part of a grocery bill, a higher utility payment, or the rising cost of prescriptions. For others, it barely feels noticeable. There is a reason why reactions to the COLA can feel so different from one person to another. One major factor is Medicare Part B premiums. For 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium increased to $22.90 per month. For many beneficiaries, this premium is automatically deducted from their Social Security check. That means even though your gross benefit amount goes up because of the COLA, the amount you actually receive after Medicare deductions may not increase by as much as you expected. In some cases, it can feel like the increase barely keeps up, or almost disappears altogether. There is a protection known as the hold harmless rule that prevents many beneficiaries from seeing their Social Security checks decrease due to Medicare premium increases. This rule ensures that the increase in Medicare premiums cannot be larger than the increase in your Social Security benefit for most people. However, this protection does not apply to everyone. New Medicare enrollees, higher income beneficiaries, and some others may feel the premium increase more directly. This is why two people receiving the same COLA percentage can have very different experiences when January arrives. At the same time, the way people interact with Social Security is changing, and this shift is becoming more noticeable each year. The agency has been moving toward a more digital-first approach, encouraging people to handle routine tasks online whenever possible. The goal is to reduce wait times, improve efficiency, and cut down on fraud. For many people, this shift has made things easier. You can log into your account, update direct deposit information, download benefit verification letters, and manage many aspects of your benefits without driving to an office or sitting on hold for hours. Phone and in-person wait times have improved compared to some of the worst periods in recent years, especially for people who schedule appointments in advance. But there are still real concerns. Social Security has been working toward reducing the number of in-person field office visits. For people who are not comfortable with technology, who do not have reliable internet access, or who need face-to-face help to resolve complex issues, this shift can feel stressful and even overwhelming. Staffing levels add another layer of concern. There have been reports of workforce reductions and the potential loss of experienced employees. Supporters of the digital shift argue that technology can absorb more routine work and free staff to handle complex cases. Critics worry that fewer staff combined with stricter rules could make it harder for people who need personal assistance, especially seniors and people with disabilities who already face barriers. Fraud prevention is another major focus as we head into 2026. Social Security has tightened identity verification procedures, especially for phone claims and changes to direct deposit. Scams targeting Social Security beneficiaries are very real, and stronger security measures help protect people from losing their benefits to criminals. But stronger security can also mean more steps, more paperwork, and sometimes even an in-person visit for legitimate beneficiaries. Finding the right balance between security and accessibility remains one of the biggest challenges facing the system right now. There is some good news as we head into the new year. The Social Security Fairness Act continues to be implemented, ending the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. These rules reduced or eliminated Social Security benefits for many people who also receive pensions from work not covered by Social Security, including teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public workers. Millions of payments have already been issued, including retroactive adjustments. For people affected by these provisions, the changes can mean a meaningful increase in monthly income. For many families, it feels like a long overdue correction to a system that penalized them for years. At the same time, long-term funding remains a concern. Social Security's trust fund is projected to face depletion in the early 2030s if Congress does not act. That does not mean benefits would disappear entirely, but it could mean across-the-board reductions in the future. Lawmakers continue to debate solutions, including changes to payroll taxes and benefit formulas, but no final agreement has been reached yet. This uncertainty adds to the anxiety many people feel, especially those who rely heavily on Social Security as their primary source of income. Another issue that continues to affect households is overpayment recovery. If Social Security determines that someone was overpaid, the agency can withhold a portion of future benefits to recover that money. For people living close to the edge, this can feel overwhelming, especially when the overpayment was not caused by fraud, but by reporting delays or administrative errors. While there are appeal processes and hardship waivers available, navigating them can be difficult and stressful. All of this is happening while inflation, although lower than its peak, is still affecting everyday costs like food, housing, insurance, and utilities. Many people feel that their financial pressure has not eased as much as headlines suggest. Even small increases in essential expenses can have a big impact when your income is fixed. You may also hear ongoing discussions about potential tariff rebate checks or other proposed payments, sometimes described as $2,000 checks. At this point, these remain proposals and discussions, not guaranteed payments. They are not something to rely on when planning your monthly budget. It is always safer to plan based on what is confirmed and already in place. As January approaches, there are a few practical reminders worth keeping in mind. Put your payment date on your calendar so you know exactly when to expect your money. If you receive SSI and see two payments close together, remember that one is for the following month. Double-check your direct deposit information if you are able, and be cautious anytime someone contacts you claiming to be from Social Security. Real representatives will not threaten you, demand immediate payment, or ask for sensitive information over the phone without proper verification. Social Security is still doing what it is meant to do, sending payments on time to millions of people. But how easy it is to get help, how secure the system feels, and how far your dollar stretches are shaping confidence right now. These are not abstract issues. They affect daily life, stress levels, and the ability to plan for the future. So I'll leave you with this thought as we head into 2026. Do you feel cautiously hopeful, still worried, or somewhere in between about the future of Social Security? Share how you're feeling in the comments. Your voice matters, and it helps others feel less alone in navigating all of this. If these updates help you stay informed, go ahead and like the video so more people can find it. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update, because more changes are coming. I'll be right here, helping you make sense of them. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you again soon.